Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Trixie, what are you doing? I'm singing happy birthday. Whose birthday is it? Oh, silly Miss Debbie. It's Israel's birthday this week. It's gonna be 72 years old. Is that older than you, Miss Debbie? Wow, that's really great. Do you think that we should tell stories about Israel today? That's a good idea! Good idea, Miss Debbie. Let's do it now. All right, the first book I'm going to read to you today is called Good Night, Israel. And it's written by Mark Jasper, and the illustrations, the pictures, were drawn by Anne Rosen. And I would like to thank Good Night Books for allowing me to read this to you today. So let's start. Good night, Israel. And the little boy and the little girl are looking out their whole hotel window and they see the city of Jerusalem. Good morning, Israel. Shalom, old Jaffa Port. Are we ready to share a wonderful day traveling around Israel? Good morning, Jerusalem, Yerushalayim. Look at all the yummy food at the Machane Yehuda market. I see watermelon. I see oranges. I see bananas. What do you see? Good morning, Migdal David, the Tower of David. That's his tall thing here. And hello, Kotel, Western Wall, where many people offer their prayers. You see this little boy right there? He has a piece of paper in his hand. And he wrote a special prayer and wishes for the world and for himself. And then he folds it up until it's teeny tiny. And he pushes it into the cracks of the wall. See how many pieces of paper there are there? Wow, those are a lot of prayers. Hey, let's go to Masada and ride up to the top in the cable car. Oh no, it's high up here. Don't look down. Oy vey. Or, if you want, you could climb up this curly path right here. It's called the snake path because it goes slithering up, 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 up. Miss Debbie walked up there 2 times. It's hard to walk all the way to the top of Masada. It sure is. Hey, let's explore King Herod's palace. Good afternoon, Dead Sea. It's the saltiest sea in the whole wide world. You could float on top easily. You can even just lie there and read a book. It's so much fun. But then you can go and visit another sea. This is called the Red Sea. Look at all the colorful underwater creatures. I see a turtle. I see a seahorse. I see some fish. Good afternoon, Baha'i Gardens in beautiful Haifa. Hello, friends, swimming in the oasis. It's so much fun to splash and cool off. Hello, camels and camel riders discovering the Negev Desert. Happy Purim, one of the most joyous holidays of the year. Would you like to help make Hamantashen? Do you like puzzles? Well, maybe you could help with the Dead Sea Scrolls and figuring out what they say. Good evening to the Kinneret, the Sea of Galilee. It's the largest lake in Israel. It's nice to see you, archaeologists, exploring ancient places in this ancient land. Good evening, ibex, at the Ein Gedi Nature Reserve. What do those ibex look like to you? Like goats? Maybe like mountain goats? And here's something else I want to show you. See this little birdie right there? That's called a hoopoe bird, and that is the national bird of Israel. Cool, huh? We don't have those in the United States or in Charlotte. No, we don't. Good night, family, enjoying a meal together. Good night, everyone in the kibbutz. Good night, city lights of Tel Aviv. Shalom, Israeli children, and thank you for sharing a wonderful day. And that's the end of Good Night, Israel. That was a pretty short book, wasn't it? So this story is called The Two Brothers. Once, a long time ago, in the ancient land of Israel, there was a wise King Solomon. And he was wondering where he should build the very special temple to keep God's commandments and the Torah. There were two brothers. One was Don, and the other was Yossi. Now, Yossi was married and had 6 children and a wife, of course, and himself. So that makes 8 people in his family. And Don was not married, and he didn't have any children. Now, both brothers were farmers, and they lived far on the opposite sides of the Judean hills. And one year, it was a wonderful year for farming, and each brother had a big crop of vegetables. So they picked their vegetables and they harvest them and put them in baskets. Don got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 baskets of vegetables. How many do you think Yossi got? Let's count them in Hebrew. אחד, שתיים, שלוש, ארבע, חמש. Wow, they both have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Now, one night, Don was sleeping in his house, but he kept tossing and turning because he was worried. So he opened up his door and he popped out and he closed his door. And he said, "Hey, my brother has 6 children and a wife to feed. No, I don't have any children. I bet he needs more food than I do. I have an idea. I'll take some of my vegetables to him." So he took a basket of vegetables and carried them all the way to his brother's farm. He went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill, and he got to his brother's house and he left the vegetables right there outside his brother's front door. I feel so much better. I've done a mitzvah. And so then he went home. Up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill till he got home. He opened up his door, went inside, closed the door, and he fell sound asleep. A little later, the same night, Yossi woke up from a bad dream. He opened up the door. He popped out. He closed the door. And he said, "Say, thank you, Hashem God, for such a great life. I have 6 children and a wonderful wife, but my poor brother, he lives all alone. Who will take care of him when he gets older? I bet he needs more food than I have. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take him some vegetables." So Yossi took a basket of vegetables and went up the hill and down the hill and 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 left some vegetables right on his brother's doorstep. Oh, wow! I feel so good about doing a good deed. And then he went back home. He went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill. And he got back home. He opened up the door. He plopped back in, closed the door. And he fell sound asleep. In the morning, the brothers woke up. They counted their vegetables, and they each still had 5 baskets of vegetables. How did that happen? How did that happen? That's strange. Now, the next night, King Solomon was sitting on a rock looking at the stars, but then he noticed Don opening his door, popping out, and closing the door, and taking some of his vegetables and carrying them up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill, leaving some vegetables at someone's door. And then he went all the way home, opened up his door, and went to sleep. And then he noticed another house where somebody else woke up. Took a basket of vegetables and went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and left the basket of vegetables at his brother's house. Up the hill, down the hill, back home. Now, on the third night, King Solomon sat behind a tree to see if that would happen again. And what did he see? He saw both Don and Yossi open up their door, pop out, close their doors, and each take a basket of vegetables. And the brothers went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and boom! Hey, what are you doing? I was bringing you some vegetables, but I was bringing you some vegetables. What? Oh, brother, that was so nice. Yes, I love you, brother. And they gave each other a great big hug. Just then, King Solomon jumped out from behind the tree and said, Hallelujah! Now I know the very best place. You have shown me all about brotherly love and kindness. So this will be the perfect spot to build the holy temple, the Beit HaMikdash. And that's exactly what he did. And that's the end of the story. Are you ready for a puppet show? Well, I have one for you that's called The Little Red Hen Goes to Israel. And I would like to send my thanks to Deborah Shine, who wrote the book, What's Jewish About Butterflies? That's where I found most of this script. Once upon a time, there was a Jewish chicken and her baby chick who lived on a farm in North Carolina. Hey, that's where I live. As a matter of fact, you might be a little bit familiar with her story. Here she comes now. And here's her baby. Hi, everybody. You know what I like to eat? Challah. But it's an awful lot of work to grow the wheat and bake the challah all by myself.
myself. So sometimes I ask the other animals on the farm if they'll help me plant the seeds and harvest the wheat and grind the wheat into flour and then bake the flour into challah. So one day I asked the cat to help me. Meow, 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 meow. Will you help me plant the seeds? No way, Jose! And do you know what the cow said when I asked for help?
No, no.
And do you know what the dog said when I asked for help?
Nope, not in a million years.
How rude! Can you believe it?
So she threw up her wings.
No. That's all I ever hear. Well, I have had enough. I am taking my little baby chick. And we are going to Israel to live on a kibbutz where everyone cooperates and helps each other.
So the little red hen decided to make Aliyah. That means to move to the land of Israel. So she packed up all her things and got on a big airplane. And the little red hen and her baby chick went to live in Eretz Yisrael, which means the land of Israel. There, they found themselves on a farming community called a kibbutz. And on the kibbutz, there was an Israeli cat. Meow, called a chatul. Meow, 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 meow. And an Israeli cow called a para. Moo, moo. And an Israeli dog called a kelev. Woof, woof. Woof, woof. Now, on every kibbutz in Eretz Yisrael, everyone works together. They particularly love to cooperate to prepare for Shabbat and make it special. So, when the little red hen said,
Who will help me plant the seeds? Emma, I will. No, I think maybe you're a little bit too small. Will somebody else help me? Can, Meow, can. I will.
and so together the cat and the little red hen cut they planted all the seeds. Next, the little red hen said,
Bark, bark. Who will help me harvest the wheat? Emma, I will. No, I think perhaps you're too little. Can somebody else help me?
Moo, betach, said the para. I will, of course I will.
Thank you.
And when it was time to take the wheat to the miller, the little red hen said.
Who will help me schlep this wheat to the mill to grind it into flour? Emma, I will. No, thank you, my dear, but I think maybe you're still too little.
But then the Kelev barked.
In Baya! Woof, 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 woof. No problemo! I will help you.
Oh, thank you, dog.
Now it was Friday morning, the perfect time to bake a special challah for Shabbat. Everyone shared in the kitchen. The little chick, the cat,
Meow,
the chatul, the para, moo, and even the Kelev. They all helped make and mix the challah dough and braid it and put it in the oven. And when it was time for everybody to gather around the Shabbat table, the little red hen said,
Who will help to bless this challah and say the brachot? Emma, I will. Good idea, little chick. Here it comes.
and they brought out the challah, and the little chick sang,
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
and everyone shared the challah. And that's the end of The Little Red Hen Goes to Israel.